Hi guys. I don't really know what I want to accomplish with this video. I've kind of been thinking, which is never good. Not for me. Alright, I guess this is kind of for those of you who have felt like they weren't good enough, or felt like you were worthless. For those of us who, I guess they kind of needed some kind of reason to hold on, whether it was a really stupid one like a movie you were really excited for, or your pet, or a sibling, or something. You needed something other than yourself, which I know a lot of people aren't going to understand. I've been there. It's painful. And it's really lonely, because for me, I was never really able to reach out to anyone. Not because there was nobody there. I didn't trust people. And the people I did trust, I didn't want to bother. I felt like that a lot. Like I'm just some bother. Just kind of there. Kind of irritating. And I know it's not my fault. You can't change how you feel overnight. You have to heal. And that is very difficult to do. But it shouldn't have to be. You're not a bother, no matter what you do, guys. No matter who it is, if it's someone you trust, tell them. If you're hurting, please. If you don't feel like you're good enough to get that help, I'm telling you, you are. You deserve to be happy. All throughout high school, it was something that I could never really get a grasp on. I kind of figured that people were just people's how they were, even if that meant they were mean to me. Of course, sophomore year, I put a stop to that by growing a backbone. But looking back, I shouldn't have had to. A lot of people at my school, they always thought I was just really good at comebacks, and you know, that comes from practice. Ever since kindergarten, people have been mean to me. You kinda have to grow a backbone eventually. Thick skin and all that. Eventually you just gotta shout back, no matter how many times they say, oh, just ignore them, they'll go away. They don't go away. The bullies don't go away just because you ignore them. Maybe for the day, but in the long run, they'll see it as you as being a doormat. At least that's my experience, and let's see, from kindergarten to about 9th grade, that's what, 10 years or something? School years, that is. Going through the same shit as always. That's not, it's not okay. Um, I remember 2011 is when I moved to Apple Valley. I moved there. We started moving on August 1st, and that was already the worst summer of my life because I was moving from Blaine. I'd grown up mainly at that time in Coon Rapids and Blaine from 2nd grade to 6th grade. That's where I was, and I had moved from Coon Rapids to Blaine after 4th grade. My parents had gotten a divorce. They were separating, at least. That's a whole nother topic, though. And at the middle school I'd been going to, Northdale, for 6th grade, I found the friends that I'd had at Soderberg, and they were really cool. I don't see them too often now, but that happens when you move a lot. And the friends I had at Madison, during 5th grade. And that was awesome. And I had some really great teachers. But I don't even remember the actual reason. In 6th grade, they'd gotten back together. That didn't work out, spoiler alert. And we were moving again. In 5th grade, I'd met somebody who I thought was basically my sister. Somebody who I was really incredibly close with. Looking back, considering that I know now I'm not straight, I'm queer as fuck, pretty sure I had a little crush on her. That or a squish. It's really hard to tell between the romantic feelings and the platonic feelings when you're gray. Anyways, I trusted her completely. I didn't think that she could ever hurt me, that she would ever want to. I was so naive to think that. Because about a month before I moved, that summer, the worst one of my life, just, casual, worst summer of your life, she betrayed and cyberbullied me. It's one of the main reasons I don't use Facebook. There's 2 of them. Number 1, I do not want to get into an argument with anyone in my family. Holy shit. A lot of them. It's like putting a gasoline into a volcano. Gasoline. A gasoline truck. Like one of those semis with a gas tank on them. Into a volcano. It's a bad idea. And then there was just too many bad memories. Too many. That's when my trust and faith in people kind of died. Now, I always say that my 12th birthday was the best birthday ever, which it was. I've never had a better one since, which is kind of sad considering I'm 18. but that was 2011 too. And my birthday's at the end of the summer. But when I think about it, that birthday and that summer feel like 2 completely different summers, even if they weren't. Anyways, she's the reason I can't really trust people. If it weren't for my cousins and some of the people that I had met during 7th grade and music, because music, even to this day, always helps me calm down, I'm not entirely sure if I would be here today. I downplay it a lot, as if it was really no big deal, but because it was so long ago, but I was 11. I was just a kid, and I had already experienced betrayal. And Bobby's approach to making me feel better wasn't very good. It was, we'll get her back. That's literally what she said to me. And at the time, I didn't want to get her back. I didn't want revenge. I wanted my friend back. And it took forever. It took forever for me to realize that she was never my friend. She never was. My mom, Bobby's reaction was anger. And I think a little bit of betrayal because I didn't tell her right away. But I didn't tell her right away because first I wanted to forget it. I wanted to have my friend still. I was so stupid. I was so stupid. Oh. That's what happens when you're a kid. You're not the smartest person. And that's okay. It is. Anyways, I also didn't tell her because I knew how she would react. It would be explosive and the gasoline tank in the volcano, and I did not. That was what I was dreading. I did not want to have some Romeo and Juliet blood feud. And that's what my mom wanted. Ugh. What was really great, though, during that whole ordeal, her dad, Will, was actually on my side. He was just completely flabbergasted. How could his little girl do that to somebody? Why would she do that? That is a very bad thing. You can't just do that to people. Her mom, however, I would not be surprised if there is an actual blood feud going on now. I wouldn't be surprised. Her mom was very mean to me. I almost panicked when I saw this one substitute who looked very much like her mom. I almost fainted because, oh god, that's my class. I don't want her mom as a substitute. Fuck! I was panicking. And it was I think it was a sophomore year. And I was still terrified. To this day, I'm terrified of seeing her again. I don't want to. I really don't. I really hope she doesn't recognize me. Fingers crossed. Well, I guess it's one because that would undo it. But at least now I know that if she tried to do anything or say anything, I could just go off on her and she'd be completely flabbergasted because, like, what? Last time she saw me, I was a meek little 11-year-old who couldn't stand up for myself. I wasn't very good at it when I was younger. Got a bit of a cold coming on or something, runny nose. And then I moved. And nothing changed. There were still the jerks who would bully me. And I was still not willing to trust people. But I did have one friend who was really cool. They were awesome. Unfortunately, we've grown apart now. But I needed them in middle school. I like to tell myself they probably needed me too. Just makes me feel a little better. Unfortunately, though, I also made another toxic friend in middle school, in 8th grade specifically. Um, a lot of you probably know who I'm talking about. Those of you who've known me since, 7th grade, you've probably deduced that. Let's just say the name rhymes with Haley. But, kind of like Witch with a B, same with the name. Yeah, that was not good for me. I can't say I ever actually trusted this chick. She never gave me a reason to trust her, and gave me a plethora of reasons not to trust her. She could never, you could probably tell her a secret and she wouldn't spill it, because she could never remember it. You could tell her something and like 2 seconds later she'd forget. I think it was senior year. I had come out to a couple friends as asexual, and she had, been in the vicinity. And by that I mean she had joined our conversation uninvited. And like the next day, she had completely forgotten. Like I would have understood if it had been a month, or, high school reunion. Like, oh, that's right, you're ace, I forgot. But it was the next day. Great, thanks. Thanks, girl. Totally best friends. She always had to make things about her, which kind of drove me to concealing pretty much everything. It's really not good how much I related to Elsa. That whole conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. It's really not good. Some of the characters I can relate to. She's one of the most just terrible person. There's one incident that I call the freshman year incident, and pretty much anyone who's involved or knew us during that time period knows, at least vaguely, what I'm talking about. It started with dodgeball, oddly enough. It had nothing to do with that note, which I never even got to read their response to it. Nobody let me read it. It got passed around the table before I could. And if I had had the guts that I have now, I would have marched over there and explained who the fuck wrote that note, because it was not me. But it had nothing to do with that. Almost. It involved a person who was involved there, but other than that, they were pretty much unrelated. I mean, it didn't help the situation, of course, but it was towards the end. I think it was the last month of, maybe it was the last 2 months. It was towards the end of 2nd trimester of senior year. I had gym right before lunch. And we've been playing dodgeball. And we all know the sound, the mats that are on the gym wall, or specifically in Gym E, all of the mats that are all over there, the wrestling room at Apple Valley. You know the sound those squishy dodgeballs you use in school? That sound when it hits one of those, I love that sound. It is a wonderful sound. It echoed throughout the gym, right? Because Hunter had thrown it at Ryan. I assume jokingly, because he was on our team, but he had just gotten out. And I had already been out, which was a rarity in dodgeball in school, I'm proud to say. I was never very good at the throwing aspect, because I always threw it to the person instead of at them. Never quite figured that part out. And I was not that great with the catching. But dodging I could do, so it was pretty weird that I was out. Anyways, so I was sitting here, and the girl, she was sitting right next to me, and there was like space between us. And that's where the ball hit, right? Because you know, it's right there. And it made the sound and rolled down. And everyone's like, oh my god, Bailey get hit because she was holding her face. Fuck. Now, we all knew who it was anyways. She was holding her face. And she's like, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. Then we get to the locker room after class, and she goes, it actually hit me. And I honestly think she really thought that, like, it was the placebo effect, you know, the sugar pills. Because, like, half her face was red. But what bothered me is that we were sitting like this. If it hit her, it would have hit this side of her face because it rolled that way, down the middle. Not off to the side over there. It rolled down the middle. But this is the side that was all red, as if she had been hit. But it didn't line up. It didn't line up with the facts. And I was trying to explain this to her. Because, you know, I like to be rational at one point. And she just kind of yelled at me for no fucking reason, and then told me that I didn't listen. This is the girl who never listened to anybody but herself. And she told me, the person she, at that point, still pretty much treated like a therapist. Except I wasn't getting paid and I was not qualified to handle any of that baggage. And she told me I didn't listen. Well, at that point, I was fed up. I was done, and I told her that I don't care anymore. I had to try pretty hard not to cry in front of all of the girls, which, I mean, might not have been such a bad thing in hindsight. But I changed, and I got out to the lunchroom, and I was trying to push it down, you know? But something inside just kind of broke. And I couldn't, and I started crying in front of everybody at our lunch table, which freaked them out, which is pretty reasonable because up until then, I don't think I'd ever cried in school. And to this day, I hate crying in front of people. It's horrible. But sometimes it's necessary. And I learned that in, you know, my freshman year. Because someone had asked if I was okay. And I was going to say yes, but I started crying and I said no, I wasn't. And I told them all what happened, and they were all well aware of how that girl acted. And they all comforted me. After that, I didn't actually speak to her for about 2 months. Just complete radio silence. I wasn't responding to any of her texts or calls. I think either then or like the summer after sophomore year, her number in my phone went from named to just a fucking number. I don't remember which. But for 2 straight months, I didn't talk to her. I didn't want to talk about her. Yeah. I really wish I had continued that streak for the rest of high school, but I wasn't that smart. Eventually, I accepted her apology. At least, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I kind of blocked out a lot of things from freshman year. Because a lot of it was just really painful. in elementary school, before I had even met Tiffany, there was this one kid who would always call me Pika, which is kind of why in middle school, at least in 7th grade, I kind of didn't want people to know my last name because I was afraid they were going to bully me for it again, which, I mean, people had been pretty mean to me up until that point, so it's like, yeah, I'm just not going to let them know, because they're just going to call me Pika all over again. I didn't want that. Well, that's not what happened. Instead, to this day, a lot of people from middle school still call me Pika, which is really nice, actually. I enjoy it. I like nicknames. But, yeah, in elementary school, for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, there was this dick, Aaron, oh my god, Aaron H. I don't know how to say his last name, and unlike some people, I don't like butchering people's last names. And he was so mean to me. Like, in 3rd grade, he found out that I believed in Santa, you know, because I was 8. And he decided to ruin it for me. And my parents, instead of saying, oh no, honey, he was lying to you, told me. What? This prick ruined Santa for me. How dare? That is incredibly rude, first of all. But no, seriously, it was awful. And my friends were sitting next to me. This was during A+, not during actual school. That's Adventures Plus for people who don't know. One of the greatest things that ever happened to me. Yeah, except for Aaron. And, they didn't help me at all. They're like, oh, no, he's, what? No, you don't know about Santa? What? And then afterwards, they're like, well, we actually do believe in him. I was like, well, why didn't you say something while he was here? I don't think I actually questioned it, though. And he was just incredibly mean. What I remember most, though, is the whole Pika thing, because that sat with me. In fact, even to this day, if I play Kahoots, I put my name in as Pikachu, and I would really love to see the look on his face if he ever saw it. Like, fuck. Like, if he regrets it, he probably doesn't want to talk to me. And if he doesn't regret it, he really doesn't want to talk to me because I have a backbone now. I could roast his ass. Saying that sometimes makes me feel a lot better. Those are like 3 of the biggest bullies in my life. I like to say that I had 5, but I don't feel like talking about the other 2 right now. Anyways, those are some of the reasons I oftentimes feel like I am worthless. Like nobody would care if I vanished. It's a nicer way of putting it. But I know people would. And knowing things and feeling things are completely different. You could know the facts and still think or feel like the exact opposite. And it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't, but it's just kind of how we are as humans, I guess. I know for a fact that my little brother would miss me. A lot of people in my family would miss me. My friends would miss me. My girlfriend would miss me. People at school who I used to know, they'd probably be entirely shocked to know that that had happened. And I like to believe they'd be very sad. But there are times where it feels like nobody would. Even though I know that that's not true. I know it's not. I know people would miss me. And I know that I have stories I want to finish, so I don't want to die. It's kind of what I meant earlier when I said that there are sometimes you just have to have something to look forward to. I guess that's kind of why I have so many unfinished projects. I don't want to leave anything unfinished. You always gotta have that one thing that you need to be here for. It's better if you have more than one, but sometimes you make do. And sometimes you really need to reach out to people. It's scary and it's hard, and sometimes you might reach out to the wrong person, and that's so painful. I know. And then you don't think you could reach out to anybody ever again, because what if they're the wrong person too? I know. But you really need to take care of yourself. You need to reach out to somebody. And if you really feel like you can't do that, if you have the money one day, maybe try to get a therapist. Because then they really can't go against your back, go behind your back or anything, or else, you can sue them. And you'll be able to get your emotions out. You'll be able to talk to somebody who's, completely qualified to handle this stuff too. I know it doesn't often feel like it, but it does get better. It really, really does, because time and time again I've dealt with horrible, horrible bullshit. And somehow, miraculously, I'm still here. I survived it. And trust me, if I can survive it, so can you. And remember, a lot of people will say, they'll tell you this, no matter how not terrible you think you had it, you still had it bad. It still affected you. And even the most severely beaten or abused in all senses of the word will say that they shouldn't feel so bad because somebody else had it worse. That is one of the most common side effects of abuse and what you're feeling right now, or a lot of the time. It is one of the most common symptoms, side effects. That's what happens. So, no, you shouldn't. You can't just not be sad because somebody else had it worse. That's like saying you can't be happy because somebody else has it better. And I know I said the same thing. No, it's not exactly the same. It really is. It's the exact same thing. It is. Saying you can't feel something because somebody else had it something else, it doesn't make any sense. You had it bad. It hurt. And if it hurt, you need to let yourself heal. And if that comes in the form of writing, like it does for me, or if it comes in the form of music and dance, or math. Math is calming to me, depending on what it is. I don't like geometry, and SOHCAHTOA can suck my ass, but algebra, I loved algebra. And no matter what, it'll always be the same. You can leave it for 100 years and come back, and this specific formula hasn't changed. Sure, there are probably new ways to do it, but you can still do it the old way and it'll work. And yes, like in Mean Girls, like Katie Heron said, it's the same in every country, and that's really nice. No matter what your outlet is, don't let anyone tell you it's the wrong one. And don't let anybody ever tell you that what you're feeling isn't valid, because I promise you, it is. I mean, they're your feelings, not the other person's, right? They can't say how you feel is valid. They can't tell you what thoughts that you have shouldn't be. They're your thoughts. They're your opinion. Unless you're like a Nazi or something, which I cannot believe is happening in 2017. We already dealt with the clowns last year. We don't need to deal with them again this year, okay? But yeah, I know you might feel worthless, and you might feel like nobody would care. But people do care. There's always going to be somebody who cares. And you know what? Maybe you haven't met them yet. And that's tragic. That's really... I'm so sorry if that's the case. But you know what? I'm here. You can reach out to me. I can promise you I'll care. Because I get attached to fucking everybody way too easily. It's a little embarrassing. But if you do need somebody to talk to, you need like a blank wall to just shout at, vent at, or you need somebody to talk to, you need advice, or you just need a shoulder to cry on. I'm here. I'm right here. You can talk to me on Tumblr or on Instagram. It's just Andy Pyka, Pyka, or Andy the Anon on Tumblr. Please ignore the header. It was a birthday present. But yeah. Still not entirely sure what I wanted to really accomplish with this video. I guess I just needed to vent too. Get it out there. Poetry is normally what helps me, but sometimes you need to vocalize it. And I never actually let myself do that. I had, imaginary conversations. Like, I pretended I was talking to somebody who I trusted instead of actually talking to them because I didn't want to bother them. And that is not, it's not healthy. It's really not. It's incredibly unhealthy, and you should take care of yourself. Because remember, you are your top priority. You're not Sally down the lane's top priority. You're not Mary two houses down's your top priority. You might not even, and you probably aren't your best friend's top priority. Though you're probably way up there. You are your own top priority, and even if you say you're not, you should be. Your feelings and your needs come before everybody else. The difference between selfish and self-care is selfish is putting your wants before other people. Self-care is putting your needs before other people. Because you can't take care of anybody else if you yourself are not okay. You can't take care of somebody if you're not there. You know? It's gonna be okay. Yeah, sometimes it's really shitty out. It's fucking storming. There's a tornado watch going on, or maybe a hurricane. I don't know where. It depends on where you live. I'm in Minnesota. Hurricane's not going to affect me, but I know they're very scary. Seen in the news. no matter what's going on in your life, if it's some kind of emotional, horrible, it's raining, it's storming, it's really, really shitty out, and there's no sign of it going to stop, and all you have to hold on to is that really cool flash of lightning that you just saw, and it was so cool. It lit up the whole sky, and it looked beautiful, but it's already gone. Sometimes that's all you have to hold on to, something that is long gone, that was there for like a second. But every single storm runs out of rain eventually. There's a song about it even. It's one of my favorites. And as a lot of people will say, you're never alone. You're really not. It feels like you are, I know. It really, really does. And it's even worse when you know you're not alone, but you also don't trust yourself or anybody else to actually go to. That's probably the worst loneliness. But everything gets better. It always does. Time and time again, that's the only constant I've noticed with my life. Things were bad, and they got better. I'm here after all, aren't I? So, obviously it's true. And you might say, well, that may be you, but for me it's not. But I'm pretty sure that if you can wait it out, I know some of you can't. And I'm really sorry. Because you can't save everyone, I know that. But the one person you can always save is yourself. And sometimes that's what you gotta do. You can't wait for someone, for some knight in shining armor. Sometimes you gotta save yourself. And it's lonely. But you can do it. I know, because, I mean, if I can do it, and I'm not the best with emotions and stuff, because, you know, I tried to hide them with a smile for so long. But, yeah. Whatever it is, I believe in you. Even if you don't. I do. And sometimes it's all you need. You just need one person to believe in you. Really, that's sometimes all you need. That one person to believe in you. And even if I don't know you, I do believe in you. I think you can do it. Unless you're a Nazi, in which case die in a fire. But if you're not a Nazi, which something tells me if you're watching me, you're probably not. I believe in you. You can do this. Whatever it is, you can do it. If it's surviving another day, I believe in you. I truly think that you can do it. Whatever demons are at your door or holding you back, you can do this. You got it. I really do believe in you. You Scooby-Dooby can. That didn't make any sense. But trust me, you got this. Whatever it is. And remember that Love, Simon comes out, when is it? In March? So hold out for at least that, because that looks like it's going to be a really good movie. And from then on, just find something else that will take a while. There is The Incredibles Incredibles 2 that comes out this summer. You can hold out for that. There's always something you can hold out for. You just gotta find it. Remember, you got this. You can do it. I believe in you. Mwah. Bye. Peace out, daydreamers.